acceptance of roads in the Overlook Phases 4 to 7.
I think, Cindy, we still had one or two. Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to bring the board up to date on the Overlook. This plan's been around for a while. They've been working pretty diligently to address all the punch list items, including installation of sidewalks, handicap ramps, and they're getting that work complete. We've been out on a number of different occasions to look at the punch list with them. They did some final wearing course paving in some of the sections. So if the board's aware, this is the main entrance to the Overlook development. The roads that are not colored have already been accepted. That would be phases 1 through 3. The remaining roads that will be back in front of you for consideration for acceptance are phases 4, shown in yellow, which include the roundabout, phase 5 shown in red, and then phase 6 shown in blue, and finally phase 7 shown in green. Phase 6 is the one that connects out to Burnside Road, that connection is already made. So again, a lot of additional roads. We're not sure when they're going to be ready. We won't bring it to you unless everything is ready, but we just wanted to get this out in front of you to let you know it's coming. That's it.
Thank you.
The next one that is the Cecil Township Municipal Authority project. Sort of came and hit Jack and I in the head real quick here. They're making an application to be on the Planning Commission agenda. I just wanted to show you the site here real quick. So this is Georgetown Road. If you're not familiar with this site, this is the road that goes back to the Robinson property back here where the slate dump was. Chartiers Creek is right down here at this section. The railroad passes through here. So the authority is actually taken by adverse possession, I believe, about maybe an acre and a half here to build this treatment plant for Lawrence. So this is going to be in front of you next month on the land development. Just want to bring it to your attention. They did ask Jack for a letter to support the Penvest grant, which I think he's given them. Just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. Nothing fancy here. These are the tanks. There's a small building here. It's pretty far off of Georgetown Road. I don't think anybody will even know it's here. We'll know when the town's ripped up the stores in that. All right. Lastly, the French Club. As the board's aware, emergency, this building had to be taken down. This is just a picture of the remaining rubble. Dawn and I talked about it. This actually needs to put the bid to get this material hauled away. And just some general conversations that I had on the environmental side of this thing. This material will need landfill because there was no asbestos report done before this building came down. So you have to treat it like it's hot. That's preliminary indications. We haven't got a final determination. The foundation should be okay. But again, all of these bricks, wood, debris, and stuff is going to need to be hauled out of here to a landfill.
Can we do that after the fact or no? We just have to treat it like it has asbestos?
You have to treat it because it's fallen. There's no way that you just can't get inside and fully evaluate it. I mean, the budget number is about $60,000 to haul this away to a landfill.
Didn't we get a bid that was less than, or didn't we get someone that said they had a general interest that was less than that?
40,000 was the general interest.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, we can put it to bid. Dawn and I just putting out a basic spec. We just want to put it out for bid to be done. But
And the property will be leaned after for the amount of
Sure.
the cost. Okay. The cost to actually take it down in an emergency was what, 4,800?
Less than $5,000. Yes.
I think that concludes the discussion items.
Thanks, yeah.
So the roof was leaking, and that forced the roof to push out the walls? And why that be?
It just started to load upon itself from what I understood. I mean, it was open to the elements for too long. The wood beams and so forth that held things up were, and the sides started to crack. I
Do
mean,
we still have that during footage?
it was in peril.
Eric, if you want, Chief, one of our officers flew, was it Sean McNaughton? Sean McNaughton flew the drone above it that evening, so that we had videos and pictures of what had happened. You could get with Chief and see that, so you can actually see for
I
yourself.
assumed that the residents, no?
It was bad. Any other questions before we move on to resolutions? 175, 2021, consider reapproval of application 2020-0028 for McConnell's Trails Phase 2B subdivision plan as recommended by the Township Engineer. Location McConnell's Trails Development along Francis Lane and Dogwood Lane, R2 Medium Density Residential Zoning District, applicant McConnell's Trails LLC. The plan received Board of Supervisors approval on September 8, 2020 and must be reapproved for recording purposes.
Yeah, this is a recorded plan. I'm sorry, I don't have a copy that I'm aware of. This is a reapproval of Phase 2B. You already approved it. The signatures are too old right now to record it, so this is just a reapproval of Phase 2B. Everything's bonded, everything's in place, everything else is in place that it needs to be recorded. But that's the request tonight to put it back on the agenda. That's why it's back on the agenda tonight.
Do I have a motion? I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 5-0. 176, 2021, consider application 2021-0023 for McConnell's Trails Phase 3A subdivision plan. Location McConnell's Trails Development along Dogwood Lane, Magnolia Court, and White Oak Way. R2 Medium Density Residential Zoning District, applicant McConnell's Trails LLC. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this plan on August 19, 2021, contingent upon addressing comments from the Township Engineer.
Yeah, all our comments have been addressed. This is for 28 single-family lots, 8 townhouses. If you recall, they were into the board to discuss the reapproval of Phase 3A with the conditions that the board had outlined, that there be stipulations related to the improvements to carry this plan to Burnside Road, which would be completed within a certain time period, which is, I believe, next spring, and then the improvements to O'Connell Road, which would be completed 1 year following that. And we actually have notes on the recorded plan to reflect what the board requested. We got the actual wording from Carol from the agenda, so that's going to be on the plan. The plan's not going to be recorded tonight, though. You're just giving approval of Phase 3A. They're going to actually build this without recording the plan yet, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get it recorded before the time runs out again.
That's the plan.
So that's the plan. This is so the board. You had delayed the approval of this plan because we were awaiting the decision related to the changes in the conditions. So now that that's in place, that's why 3A is on the agenda.
We didn't approve it, right?
You gave them.
We said that, if I remember correctly, I wanted the road open all the way to Burnside to eliminate some of the traffic on the corner.
Right. Yeah, they came in and requested the change in conditions last month, and you guys gave them the okay on the change in conditions, and we did it with a timing that it's not based upon It's not based upon the construction of 3B. It will be completed by next spring.
Next fall.
Next fall.
I think it was October.
Yeah, October of next year.
Yeah, I do. I remember. Do I have a motion for 176/2021?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. 177.
Excuse me, I had one question about this before we move on. Hey, Dan, years ago, whenever the 9/11 system went into effect, it was mandated, we had to rename all the streets in the township to comply with the standards for the 911 system statewide. We'd eliminate a lot of street names that like duplicates, like there was a lot of first streets in the villages, things like that. We were also directed on streets that, or driveways that had like two homes on it, and to call them lanes, LANE, to designate for the 911, or the emergency providers, that's a private road and there might be one or two houses out there. So at the time, or whoever was doing the work for us designated all those private areas as lanes. Now, I mean, there's a couple of Dogwood Lane here. I don't know if that's, if I just had forgotten about that, about the Dogwood Lane here, and there's another one, Francis Lane. Are we getting away from that policy that we required at the time to, this is going to be a public street, and yet it's going to be designated as a lane, and is that going to conflict with anything that we were required to back then? It's been so long, I can't remember that.
Yeah, Liz actually, before, when a road name comes in, it actually goes to the post office for approval and to 911 before they approve it.
But the post office had nothing to do with designating private drives as
No,
lanes.
but 911 is, the post office cares too. I know that she goes through that process. I understand what you're saying, lane was private
Yeah,
and street was public.
right.
I don't know that got passed on, or we can get back on
Well,
to
I don't know
that.
if it was, I don't know if it was a requirement, but I can't remember it. I just wanted to point that out, that just in case that I don't want to go against something that we were required back then and we followed all along.
Right. I know that we do check on every street name, that we do check, but I'll ask Liz about that tomorrow. We'll get a note back out to the board.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom, for bringing that up. 177.